Hello students, welcome to Young Cubs. Today is the second session, or we could say part 2 of the explanation of endocrine system. We have already finished thyroid gland, okay, its location, its hormone, hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, and its ailments. And today we are going to start with adrenal glands. So, you children, do you understand the meaning of renal? The word renal refers to kidney. It's adrenal. Okay, so these are our kidneys. Yes, children, this is the shape of our kidney, and like a cap, this thing, which is more like a cap. Okay, these are the adrenal glands. It is more like a cap on top of. It's more like a cap on top of the kidneys. Look here, these are our kidneys. Okay, and this portion, I need to take a better color. Okay, this portion adds like a small cap, just drawing it for fun. Okay, this acts like a cap out here. Yeah, so it's an added attachment to the renal system, that's the reason why this gland is named as adrenal gland. Okay, so what are the parts of this adrenal gland? Okay, this look at this one, this picture out here. This is the adrenal gland. This is the kidney. Okay, attached to is the adrenal gland. So it has an inner portion. Okay, this part, this is the adrenal medulla. It is different from the medulla oblongata in the brain. Okay, these we are talking about the kidney. So the inner portion is known as adrenal medulla, and this outer covering. Okay, I'll color it with another color. Okay, this outer covering, this portion, okay, the part in purple is known as the adrenal cortex. So right now what we understood is the placement of this gland called adrenal gland. Okay, and in the adrenal gland, what are the parts of the adrenal gland? So we got the location and the parts that it is made up of. Okay, yes, children. Okay. Now, children, adrenal gland secretes the hormone adrenaline. Adrenaline. Okay. So, as we know on the previous page, the inner portion is called the adrenal medulla, and the outer covering is known as the adrenal cortex. Adrenaline is also known as the emergency hormone. It is also known as the fright or flight hormone. So what do these words mean? They basically mean that there is an adrenaline gush in case of emergency, when you're very scared, when you don't understand what to do, and this is when the gush happens. Either you may be too physically stressed or emotionally stressed, you may be fearful, you may be very angry. That's when this hormone is secreted. So when this hormone is secreted, okay, it provides extra energy and strength. So when this hormone is secreted, it alerts your muscles, it alerts your brains to act upon it, and that's how it is called the emergency hormone. Okay, see, why is it known as a fight or it should be, no, it's not fright, it's fight or flight hormone, because either you fight the situation, or if you don't understand, you don't know how to fight it, the simple way is it will give power to your muscles, leg muscles, and ask you to fly away from there, flee from there. All right, so that's why it said that it gives our muscles extra energy. Okay, it gives you the courage to handle danger. Now, this hormone, it increases the heartbeat, it increases the rate of respiration, it gives a rise in blood pressure, more blood supply to the muscles, and more release of glucose into the blood by the liver. All right, so all these, this is what the adrenal gland does. Okay, it the adrenal gland only secretes adrenaline, and when this adrenaline is secreted, it helps you to deal with emergency situations. And these are the physical effects of what this hormone does on the heart, on the respiration, on your leg muscles, etc. All right, it is like putting more fuel into the engine so that the engine thinks quickly, works upon quickly, like that. Okay, to face any kind of situation. Okay, so this adrenaline is basically secreted from the adrenal medulla. So this one, adrenal medulla, secretes adrenaline. Okay, then what does the adrenal cortex do? Adrenal cortex secretes many other hormones. Okay, but the well-known hormone is cortisone. So this one, cortex, so cortisone. So what does the cortisone do? The cortisone basically, it influences, or it, maybe rapids, it makes the, fastens the metabolism of carbohydrate, fats, and proteins. Okay, it makes sure that the chemical reactions happening in our body, okay, basically carbohydrate breakdown, protein breakdown, fat breakdown, okay, is affected once this cortisone is released. Okay, another job of the cortisone is to to regulate salt and water balance in the body. Okay, salt doesn't mean the salts basically means all the these ions and all these, so basically are stuff that when you are unwell, you lose out on salts, the ions, the radicals, okay, that you need in your body for good functioning. So basically it regulates the salt and water balance in our body, and they also adapt the body to stress. Okay, if it's too hot, okay, so what happens is there is a secretion. Okay, there is if there's extreme heat, or if there's extreme cold, or if there's extreme, so it gives that tolerance to the body. Understood, children? So you can call it in your terms, how, if you want to remember cortisone, it is giving you tolerance. Understand, children? So the hormone cortisol, it influences the metabolism of macronutrients. What are the macro? Macro means big, the bigger molecules. What are the macronutrients? The carbohydrates, the fats, and proteins. All right. Okay, it regulates salt water balance. Okay, and if water reduces in our body, okay, blood flow, everything gets affected. Okay, and adaptation to stress by increasing the tolerance tolerance to heat, burn. It helps you to cope up with things. Okay, it is a coping up hormone. Now, what are the effects of adrenaline secretion? Okay, now it increases the heart rate. Heart rate, yes, we know about it because it is it's a fight or flight situation. If you have to flee, if you have to run away from a situation, if there is a dog, it is a mad dog which is looking at you and growling. Okay, what will you do? You even, either you'll throw stones at it. Okay, you know that your aim is not very good by attacking. You're fighting with the situation, but not happening. What will you do? You will fly. You will flee from there. So your first of all, looking at the dog, your heart rate will increase. Okay, then you'll start breathing heavier. You may want to, when you run away, that time also you'll breathe heavier. There will be a tension in your body, hence there'll be a rise in blood pressure, increase in blood supply, and release of more glucose into the blood, so that so that your muscles get more energy to run faster. All right. So, what did we study about adrenaline? Okay, adrenal gland secretes adrenaline. We know about this placement. It is a location. It is above the kidneys like a cap. It has the adrenal gland has two parts. One is the inside part, which is the medulla, and the outside part, which is the cortex. Adrenal medulla secretes adrenaline. The adrenal cortex secretes cortisol. Okay, both help you to cope up with situations. Okay, one gives you a fight or a flight thing. It's an emergency hormone, and the other one is a coping up with stress, increasing your tolerance level. It is that kind of a hormone. All right. Now we come to pancreas. See, children. Okay, these are your pancreas. This thing basically is your duodenum. Okay, that's your duodenum in this picture. And this is basically your stomach. Behind your stomach, okay, this part is your pancreas. It is situated behind. Okay, so this is how your pancreas look. Okay, the thicker part, okay, is your head, then a little elongated part, then the body, and then there's a small tail. Okay, so they are all closely located. The duodenum, the stomach, the liver. Children, that's the liver. And then see this green thing, the gallbladder. This is the gallbladder. Yes, children. And here behind everything is the...
Children, let me tell you that the pancreas have both types of glands. The duct glands, that is the exocrine glands, as well as the endocrine glands. Okay, now this pancreas is mainly a digestive gland. Okay, it secretes enzymes for the process of digestion. The enzymes produced by the pancreas break down carbohydrates, proteins, and fats during the digestive process. However, food does not reach the pancreas. Okay, but pancreas release the pancreatic juice for the breakdown of these macronutrients. Okay, however, pancreas also have the endocrine gland or the endocrine system in them. Okay, and it also has a cluster of hormone secreting cells. So this cluster of hormone secreting cells has been given a special name called the islets of Langerhans. They are nothing but a cluster of hormones secreting cells, children. Okay, now they secrete, basically the islet of Langerhans. These cells secrete two types of hormones, and the two types of hormones are, one is insulin. You must have heard of this word. Let's do a little more about it today. And the other one is glucagon. Okay, so the insulin, basically the function of insulin is to lower glucose from the bloodstream in the following ways. What are the following ways? So insulin is nothing but a glucose balancing. It's a glucose balancing hormone. So if the glucose level in your blood, or if the sugar levels in your blood rise, insulin is secreted to bring it down. Okay, and how does it bring it down? By converting the extra glucose. The extra glucose should not reach different parts, or it should not stay in the blood. Okay, so it helps by converting the extra glucose in the blood to glycogen. Now what is glycogen, children? It is a stored form of glucose. So it's simply when you want to eat food, what do? You take it out in a plate, you remove the food in a plate, and you eat it. So when glucose is nothing but the food ready to be taken, or taken into the blood. But when you don't want to eat the food, when you don't want this blood, when you don't want this glucose, you want to keep it for later use, or you want to keep it for what do you do? What do you do with the food in the house? You put it in some bowl, cover it, or you put it in some utensil and store it in the fridge. So the stored glucose is glycogen. Okay, glycogen, sorry, it's glycogen. And when ready to use, okay, this glycogen is again later converted into glucose and supplied in the blood. Glucose, remember, is the simplest form of carbohydrate, which can be easily taken in by the blood, and it's the food for the cells. What is the symbol of glucose? C6H12O6. Correct? So remember, ready to use food just to be taken in is glucose, and then you don't want to take it, you store it. The stored form of glucose is glycogen. Now Where is this glycogen stored? This glycogen is stored in liver and the muscles of our body. Okay, understanding what one function of like how insulin helps. If there's extra glucose, it converts it. So when this hormone is released, okay, it checks the glucose level in the blood, and then that extra one, it pulls out. It pulls it out and converts it, and then stores it into the liver and the muscles. Okay, then it also induces the cell to burn extra glucose to produce heat and energy for the body. So it helps to produce heat and energy for the body to use. And how is the heat and energy produced? By burning the glucose. So it kind of forces the glucose in the blood. See, you're there in the blood, you have to burn, you have to come into some use. You cannot be just flowing around. Okay, you just cannot be wandering around the body. So it induces the glucose, induces glucose to burn. Yes, and then the glucose burns, it produces heat and energy, and that heat and that energy is used by the body. All right, children. So both uses are very, very important. Okay, if it is there in the blood and blood sugar levels are low, blood sugar levels are maintained. If they are there already, come on, come into use, find yourself a job, okay, burn out so that the body gets energy. And if there's extra glucose, come on, you're not required, come, I'll store you into the liver. All right, and the stored form of glucose is called as glycogen. Children, the third function of insulin is also to cause the cells to convert extra sugar into fat. So fat is nothing but these carbohydrates, these sugars only. But if these sugars are taken in huge amounts, what happens? Body fat develops. Okay, so where should I write it? Third function. Third function causes these cells to convert extra sugar to fat. All right, children, this much is clear. Remember, children, insulin is a hormone of the endocrine system being secreted by the pancreas. The main function to maintain blood sugar levels, to convert extra glucose to glycogen, to convert the appropriate amount of glucose, cause the or induce the appropriate amount of glucose to burn to generate heat and energy. And then there's this third thing which says cause the cells to convert extra sugar. Okay, these are the scenarios if insulin is in optimum amount, in right quantity. What if insulin is insufficient? No, not the right amount of insulin is secreted from the glands. Okay, what happens? The first thing first, diabetes. Okay, the scientific name for diabetes is diabetes mellitus. Okay, so diabetes is the syndrome, or that diabetes is the ailment which is acquired. It's a disease, remember, it's the ailment that is acquired in case of insufficient insulin. What happens in diabetes? Frequent urination. That means you keep going to the bathroom very, very frequently. Okay. Unusual weight loss. Okay. And then weakness in the body. All right, children. So basically what happens to a person who has insufficient insulin being produced in the body? If there's insufficient insulin in the body, what exactly happens? The sugar levels in the body is high. So the concentration of sugar, because there's no one to control, the action of sugar in the blood. So it is insufficient, the body becomes incapable to control the concentration of sugar in blood. Right? So that's the reason why now somehow the body has to have a mechanism where the extra sugar has to be, eradicated from the body, and hence somehow the body wants to get rid of this extra sugar. So that's the reason why frequent urination. Okay, frequent urination means a lot of water loss, Because of lot of water loss, what happens is person feels thirsty. Yeah, okay, because again, that's, and then usually, then because of lot of water loss and lot of mechanism gadbad, okay, the weight loss happens. Okay, and when the weight loss happens, your muscles also tend to not support your system, your working, okay, your physical health, and that's why you feel weak. Okay, body shows weakness. Okay, in certain people, the glucose level comes down due to over secretion. So this is insufficient insulin problem. So this is under secretion, or this is like a hypo situation. But what happens when there is over secretion? So no, glucose is normally is functioning normal. If glucose levels in the blood are normal, but the insulin overpowers, over secretes. Okay, in that case also it is very harmful and may have severe consequences. Okay, so over secretion also not good, under secretion also not good. Everything looks good when it is optimum. All right. Then we come to the hormone glucagon. What is glucagon, children? Glucagon, one more, there are two. The islet of Langerhans secrete two hormones. One is insulin. We looked into oversecretion and undersecretion. Now let's look at glucagon. Now glucagon, what is the function of glucagon? It stimulates the breakdown of glycogen. We just studied what is glycogen. Glycogen is nothing but stored glucose. Helping it to store it in the liver is fine, but then when required, if you've not had a particular meal on time, so your blood sugar levels have gone low, people when they fast, okay, full day when they fast, what happens at that time? Food is not consumed, the right amount of sugars, or sugar is not there in the blood. Sugar means food, children, not the sugar that we have in tea and coffee. Okay, that right amount of sugar is not there. So at that time, at that time hormone glucagon is released, okay, in the pancreas, and this glucagon stimulates or tells the glycogen which is stored in the liver, come on, high time, there is less glucose running in the blood, you need to break it down and convert it back to glucose, so that that it can burn and the body can get energy. All right, thus it increases the sugar levels in the blood. All right, children, that's all for today. Thank you and God bless you all.